link up, baby. You just hit my line for the wind down. There's only one thing on my mind when you come around me. I get lost in where you found me. Want you to use me. You let her confuse me. Don't wanna hide the fact that you make me feel that way. Want you to give me play. I see it in your eyes, you're lonely. Come put that body on me. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. Nobody do you like I will. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. They can't do you like I will. Like I will. I treat you right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I treat you right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. They can't do you like I will. Like I will. Pick up the phone, little baby. You got me up and I'm wavy. You know I want you to myself. You know you've been driving me crazy. Looking me right in the eye and tell me it's mine. If not, I'ma make it that way. You know I want you in a major way. I bless that body, make you share your grace. I've been trying to get you face to face. Wanna fall through and give you ways to waste. I do what it takes. I make them walls sing on your heartstrings. Say your heart. I treat you right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make it feel. I treat you right, I will. I hit it right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make it feel. I hit it right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. I treat you right, I will.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the room early. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, then please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who I appreciate who is here, which is each and every one of you guys. So shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. We got Brooklyn Queen in the building. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. We got DC Precise in the house. Shout out to DC Precise. We got Tone 45 FU in the building. What's good with it, bro? We got Shamika Gray up in here. Shout out to Tori and Rain. Yo, make sure that y'all spam the chat with some flame emojis for Tori and Rain getting featured with that viral tweet in multiple media outlets. You know what I'm saying? That is what's good. Make sure that y'all show him some love. You know what I'm saying? And also, if you have a Twitter account, go and share that tweet. Help it continue to stay viral. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Emperor Rex. What's good with it, bro? We got Denise Scales in the building. B1 Jacoby. What's good with it, bro? My man AB is in the house. Shout out to AB Promotions. We got Lloyd Sky 9. Shout out to my man Lloyd Sky 9 in the building. We got Jay Cage in the house. Shout out to Jay Cage. All right. So let's get into it. We got a couple undocumented bros streams coming up. All right. And they're going to be Black Light Revelations 1, Black Light Revelations 2. They're going to be all over the place. All right. So if you're not subscribed to all the channels, make sure that you guys take a moment and do that. Also, if you're not part of the Discord, make sure that you join the Discord, all right? Before we get into the undocumented bros content, because I got a lot to talk about today. Shout out to Sean. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to Carlton Way. Before we get into it, we're going to talk about a hate crime that took place. Shout out to JW, B1, bro. What's good with it? We're going to talk about a hate crime that took place, all right? And then what we're also going to talk about is we're going to talk about a quote-unquote potential undocumented bro who is going to be not standing trial. You know what I'm saying? So let's check this out real quick.
This war growing here at home tonight, the hate crime investigation in Burlington, Vermont. The suspect in the shooting of 3 college students of Palestinian descent, tonight charged with attempted murder. The students were visiting the family of one of the students over the Thanksgiving holiday. They say a man walked up to them and shot them without saying a word.
Now, I want you guys to, I want to ask you guys this question, and I want you guys to answer it and let me know. When it comes to the suspect, the person who walked up to and shot one of these individuals, let's take a guess about the demographics. Anybody who wants to guess about the demographic of this individual, go ahead and put your guess into the comment section. All right. Put your guess into the comment section. And also, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 28 people watching. If everybody can take a moment, smash that like button. Also, make sure that you guys hit the bell and please share the stream to your social media. Share it to your YouTube community post. Share it all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Now, here goes my question. When these kind of things happen, why is it that this particular group of people is overrepresented perpetrating hate crimes against people that they don't see as them? Because as we're looking at these guys here on the screen here, they all look PC to me, right? But other PC people don't see them as PC. And they move on that. So now my question for you guys is, what's up with the aggression? Why is it that that particular group is always very aggressive to go after and harm people in regards to hate crime perpetration? Yeah, shout out to JW. He was brought in alive.
Tensions from this war growing here at home tonight, the hate crime investigation in Burlington, Vermont. The suspect in the shooting of 3 college students of Palestinian descent, tonight charged with attempted murder. The students were visiting the family of one of the students over the Thanksgiving holiday. They say a man walked up to them and shot them without saying a word. And tonight here, what police say that 48-year-old suspect said to detectives when they arrived at his door. Here's our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, tonight.
This is the man who police in Burlington, Vermont say shot 3 college students of Palestinian descent. And tonight, Jason Eaton has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of attempted murder in what police called an unprovoked and terrible crime.
He stepped off a porch and produced a firearm and began discharging.
So now, what's up with that? What's up with that? What would cause somebody to do that? Now, have you heard Fox News, or have you heard Black Conservative Perspective, or have you heard Officer Tatum or Larry Elder or Candace Owens? Candace Owens got her hands full, so I'm sure she's busy and doesn't have time to cover this. But aside from her, have you guys heard any of the usual suspects talking about this?
Saturday night, authorities say the students were out for a walk, speaking a mixture of Arabic and English, 2 of them wearing traditional scarves when they came under fire.
Although we do not yet have evidence to support a hate crime enhancement, I do want to be clear that there is no question this was a...
How is there not? So look, check this out. Sarah George, she says, although we don't have evidence to add a hate crime attachment, make no mistake, this was a hate crime. How's that work? Somebody explain that to me. Help me.
I do want to be clear that there is no question this was a hateful act.
When detectives knocked on Eaton's door, authorities said the 48-year-old told them, "I've been waiting for you," but made no other statements that would point to motive. Investigators say bullets recovered from the scene matched a gun at the suspect's home. Tassin Ali Ahmed, a student at Trinity, Kenan Abdul Hamid, a student at Haverford, and Hisham Awatani, who goes to Brown, were spending Thanksgiving in Burlington, where their families said they thought they'd be safe.
We are very lucky that the boys are not dead. He shot them from a distance of 2 meters.
All 3 young men are still in the hospital. Court records say Awatani sustained a lodged bullet in his spine. Ali Ahmed was struck in the upper chest and Abdul Hamid in his right glute. Today, Attorney General Merrick Garland spoke about the shooting and the rise in threats from the Israel-Hamas war.
All of us have also seen a sharp...
So now that's interesting, right? Now here's the thing that's interesting, right? This is my question for y'all. How is it that they're linking this to the Hamas-Israel war? How is it that they're doing that? And yet they're not considering it a hate crime? That's my question for you guys. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I find that an interesting bit of reporting.
Increase in the volume and frequency of threats against Jewish, Muslim, and Arab communities across our country since October 7th.
Tonight, David, the authorities have been through the suspect's social media and electronic devices looking for anything that would allow them to charge this as a hate crime. David?
All right, our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, tonight. Aaron, thank you.
So now here's my question. Why are they saying that this is, if they don't have enough evidence to make it a hate crime, how is it related to the Israel-Hamas situation? That's my question. Make it make sense. So we're going to look at another, right? We're going to look at another video, and this video is about this same thing. So I'm going to pull it up real quick. All right, so let's check this out right here.
This story and the heinous attack that left those 3 students injured. We are joined by Elizabeth Price, the mother of Hisham Awatani. Mrs. Price, thank you so much for joining us. Just tell us, if you can, how your son's doing.
He is in the ICU. He is stable, but he has a bullet embedded in his spine. And that bullet means that his body temperature is unstable.
That's it. His mom's name is interesting compared to his, isn't it? Don't you guys think? Her name, what was her name? Elizabeth Price.
So they're having to artificially keep him cool or warm him up if his body temperature goes either way. His spinal fluid, a cord is being flooded with blood pressure medicine so that he can have blood passing through his spine. And he has lost currently all functional mobility in his legs. He can feel his legs, but he can't move his legs. So he has had really high spirits. He's a really strong young man. He's been joking around and teasing and always coming up with some way to demonstrate his fortitude and his resilience. But I think he's tired. He's tired. The adrenaline of the attack is worn off, and he's now shifting into another phase of his life. And that phase, it was new, it's unexpected, and it may potentially be a long one. So I think he's tired, but he's resilient.
And glad to hear that he is resilient. Can you talk us through how you found out about the shooting and your initial reaction?
My brother called me at in the middle of the night, and I first hung up on the phone call because I thought it had been an accident. And then he called me back again. He told me that he was in the hospital and that Hisham had been shot. And I was stunned, shocked. And I found out that his friends had been shot. And of course, I thought about his parents, their parents. And they'd been visiting my mother at her invitation for Thanksgiving. She was hosting them. And to think that these 2 boys, the children of my friends, had been hurt while with my family, it was just it was terrible. I then called another mother and told the parents, and then I tried to call the other parents, and I told them. So it was a lot. It was a hectic night. We were stunned. We had no idea what was going on. Hisham was, as I said, really, trying to make us feel okay about the situation and showing that he was being brave. But it was devastating for us.
I can imagine.
I had to wake up my husband and tell him that his son had been shot, and that was really, really hard. So middle of the night, news about a son being shot it changes your life.
I can imagine. How are the other 2 boys?
One of them, who had a more superficial wound, has been released from the hospital. And another one has a chest wound, which I think is quite painful. And he's remaining in the ICU for the time being. And Hisham will be in the ICU for another week or so, and then will be moved to a spinal injury ward, and then for about a month maybe.
So I highly doubt that this individual, her son, I doubt that he'll ever be able to walk again.
And then we'll have several months of physical therapy to go through.
As you know, the attack is being investigated as a hate crime after your son and his friends were shot outside of a relative's home. Did the keffiyeh that they may have been wearing play a role in the attack, as far as you know?
The man didn't say anything. He approached them. They moved aside so that he could walk past them on the sidewalk, and he pulled out a gun and shot them, stood over them for a minute. My son thought he was going to be killed, and then left. My children, I mean, my son and the two boys have no idea what triggered him. It was a hateful crime.
So now let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys think triggered him? Because clearly that's the mystery. Clearly nobody knows, including the authorities. They have to, you know, do a study. But what is you guys' guess on what caused this situation? That's my question. What do you guys think? And real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 37 live viewers and we got 33 likes. If everybody could take a moment, bang on that like button and get us over 40, that'd be great.
For our viewers who are not familiar with this scarf that's associated with Palestinians, can you just explain it for us?
The kufiyya is a square scarf. It's got a black and white or red and white kind of net-shaped pattern. It's originally was used by farmers to keep their heads cool. And so it's usually worn by men, draped over their head like this with a black cord to keep it in place. Once Palestinians went through the various dispossessions and for many exiles or displacement, it became a symbol of Palestinian culture, much as the Palestinian embroidery, which used to be linked to specific villages, different colors, different patterns. You could look at a dress up and Palestinian embroidery.
Now, I just want you guys to pay very close attention, right? I want you guys to pay very close attention to how people talk about other people's cultures, and they talk about them with such reverence and such fascination and such respect. And I want you guys to pay attention to how disrespectful and hateful people talk in regards to anything regarding us and our culture. Does anybody notice that as a pattern? With everybody else's culture, it's so complicated and it's so complex, and you know, it means so much, and these things are symbolic and this is sacred. When it comes to us, everything is stupid. We didn't do it. It's something that's common sense and it's low level. Right? This is literally the attitude that these people take. Shout out to Carlton. Wait, Carlton said, y'all be careful wearing turbans or anything Aladdin would wear because ish is getting real. The only thing that I would wear that Aladdin wore what's that girl's name? Jade or whatever. Aside from that, that's it.
Dress and know exactly where a woman was from. Now, these are nationalist symbols. These are symbols of the Palestinian culture.
What does justice look like for your son at this point?
I think you have to ask him. Justice for me is making sure that the man who shot him is behind bars so that he cannot threaten them again.
And lastly, Mrs. Price, is there a plan for you to perhaps come to the United States to see your son? And what do you want the world to know about him?
Yes, we're leaving tomorrow morning. We should be in the U.S. by Wednesday afternoon. So we're looking forward to seeing him going straight from the airport to the hospital. Hisham is a delightful boy. Absolutely. I mean, my heart swells when I think about him. He is kind.
Okay, so the father must be the one that's Palestinian or not. You know what I'm saying? But it appears that way.
He is generous. He is loyal. I mean, his group of friends, the two of whom he was with that night, are so tight, and he would do anything for them.
He sounds like a fascinating young man. Mrs. Price, we cannot thank you enough for talking to us at what we know is a really difficult time. Glad you're.
Now, another thing I want you guys to pay very close attention to is that when they were talking about these victims of this particular crime, they didn't villainize the victims, and they also didn't go into depth about the suspect. Let me ask you guys this question. After watching this video, what do you know about the suspect? Shout out to New York State of Mind. What's good with it, bro?
You're going to be able to be reunited with your son tomorrow. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, so there's that. All right, so now, how many people heard about the UNC shooter? If you guys heard about the UNC shooter, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear about the UNC shooter, give me a thumbs down. And technically, talking about these people, technically, this falls the first story and this story technically falls under undocumented bros if we stretch it out, because these are some undocumented cats. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kid Gravity. What's good with it, bro? Technically, you know, these cats could be undocumented. You know what I'm saying? They foreigners. You know what I'm saying? They foreigners. You know what I'm saying? So we could throw it in there with undocumented bros and it'll slide, right? It'll slide. I treat you right, I will, right? So there's been some interesting developments with the situation with the UNC shooting suspect. We're going to see what those things are.
Another big story. The UNC Chapel Hill grad student accused of shooting and killing a professor appears in court today. The judge ruled that Taylor Chi may not be mentally capable to go to trial. And
now, how does that work? Now, remember, when it comes to these particular people, they allegedly the smartest people in the entire world. Nobody's smarter than them. They do everything right. They're the model minority. Don't commit any crimes. It's impossible for anybody to commit any crimes because we commit 100% of them and make up 13% of the population. Shout out to the news lady. She looks very surprised right here. You know what I'm saying? So now here go my question. What do y'all think? Yeah, look at that freeze frame of her, right? Yeah. You know what? You know what they say, Carlton? Some women have that reaction. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Mo. What's good with it, bro? So I don't know if you guys caught it, but this individual is not going to be standing trial. Exactly. Exactly. Catsy and DC Precise. That's the point. He's a grad student, but not mentally capable. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. What's good with it? So you mean to tell me that nobody realized that he had any kind of mental issues before he was admitted into college? Now, mind you, mental disease does not have anything to do with cognition, right? You can still be highly intelligent. You can still have a high IQ and be a sociopath or a narcissist or be bipolar or schizophrenic. However, those since they're not attached to your cognition, that means that you still are in full control of your faculties and know exactly what you're doing, right? Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down.
And may not be in the future. He's been behind bars since August after police say he gunned down a professor on campus. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake was in court today and joins us now with the next steps.
Julie, the judge decided today that Taylor Chi can't comprehend court proceedings in order to assist his attorneys. Chi also tried to hurt himself while in the Orange County Detention Center back in October.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all think that he tried to hurt himself on purpose because he knew that they would react like this? Or do you think that this was legit? And also, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that he was put up to acting like he doesn't know how to comprehend anything and can't be of any assistance to his own defense? What do you guys think?
Proceedings in order to assist his attorneys. Chi also tried to hurt himself while in the Orange County Detention Center back in October. Today, the judge read through mental health assessments from experts that the state and the defense brought in.
Mr. Chi suffers from untreated psychosis and severe mental illness. Most likely.
So if it was untreated, then how did they get the diagnosis of it? See, that's the question. You don't find things go untreated until they get diagnosed, and then once they get diagnosed, they get treated. So when was his initial diagnosis of this? How long did he go without treatment? And how much did he rely on outside help to be competent before the trial? See, because how is it that all of a sudden, once these people go to trial, it's the trial that makes them incompetent? But before any of this, his mental health disorder, it was of no consequence. Nobody even talked about it. That's another thing. Do you guys notice that? Mental health is not an issue many times until people are standing trial and about to face consequences. Now, it'd be a different story if you have a history of issues, if you have a history of, mental hospitalizations, if you have a psych history, if you know what I'm saying, if all of these different things are in line, then that would make sense. But in most cases, that's not the case. Shout out to Vincent Harper. What's good with it, bro? In most cases, that's not the case. And so my question for you guys is, why not? Why is that pattern there?
Illness, most likely schizophrenia, that his thoughts are delusional.
Now, how does she know this? She's a judge. She's not a medical professional. She's not a psychiatrist. She's not a psychologist. She doesn't have any type of certification or credibility to be able to diagnose somebody with a mental health disease. So unless they did some type of psychiatric workup, which I'm not sure if they did, they may have not. My question is, if you're the judge, why are you not asking the psychologist questions like, has his schizophrenia caused him to behave like this before, whether it's been treated or untreated? Right. His mental diagnosis is undocumented, bro. Got it. You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. They know just by looking. Well, that's how it is when you don't have brown eyes, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I guess you have X-ray vision.
Most likely schizophrenia, that his thoughts are delusional, disorganized, and paranoid.
The judge ruled that she meets the criteria for inpatient involuntary.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to sound messed up. Actually, I am. You know what I'm saying? But she looks like one of those type of women who's involved with another woman that you don't want to look at. You know, because there's the ones that you can look at and you won't mind. And then there's the ones that you might lose your lunch if you happen to accidentally catch a glance at. She looked like one of them. Just saying.
Commitment saying he's a danger to himself and to others. He will be transported to Central Regional Hospital in Butner, North Carolina, and his mental health reports will be sealed. She spoke up in court today requesting otherwise.
I require all the reports for the mental health evaluation to be public.
Man, Torian, this is all you right here. Like, listen to this dude, man. I require that the reports of the mental health evaluation to be public. Like, listen to this cat. Definitely undocumented, bro. Y'all can hear the accent.
I require all the reports for the mental health evaluation to be public.
Like, bro, like, come on, man. We gotta ask this dude, like, bro, what's wrong with you? Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Cameron, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Cameron said he's gonna be back on the street shortly. Facts. Super facts. To do it again.
Now Chi heads to treatment where one of two things are going to happen.
Is that the defendant is found to be restored to capacity and the case proceeds to trial. Or it is possible that a judge can find that the person is incapable of restoration.
With the first-degree murder charge Chi faces, it comes with the possibility of the death penalty, but the Orange County DA says he won't pursue that if the suspect is ever convicted.
Why would he not pursue that? Why would they automatically rule that out from being pursued? Seriously, that's my question. So now we're going to look at another video about this particular topic. And you guys are going to love the title of this one. The title of this one is UNC shooter unfit for trial, most likely has schizophrenia, will be sent to mental health facility. He'll be sent to a mental health facility. Okay.
And reporting live from Southeast Raleigh High School. We'll keep an eye on that situation for you.
Also have more news. Breaking news out of Orange County. The UNC grad student charged with murdering his professor on campus is not mentally capable of standing trial.
That's a finding revealed today in a...
So how do you come to that conclusion is my question. Seriously. So what about the rest of his life? This is what I'm asking you guys, and I need you guys to help me out with an answer here. The mental health issue that they're claiming that he has that contributed to what he did, never affected anything in his life until now. How does that work? And why is it that you don't have to look into a history of that? Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Torian Rain. Hope maybe you'll tweet something about it and that'll go viral too in the right places. What does the AAPI community have to say about this? He about to get away with AAPI on AAPI crime. Yeah, facts. But remember, how did this happen? Because we are 13% of the population and we commit 100% of the crimes and are responsible for 100% of America's issues. So the math doesn't math. The math doesn't math, does it?
Second psychiatric evaluation. WRAL investigates Sarah Kruger was in court when this unfolded. Sarah.
Renee, Tyler Chi wrapped up in court here in Orange County in Hillsborough about an hour ago. During the appearance, we learned some of the content of those psychiatric evaluations, concluding that Chi has severe mental illness and even noting that he harmed himself while in the Orange County jail.
But here goes my question, though. Like, why do they keep talking about him harming himself in the Orange County jail? People are most unstable in times when they're under extreme stress or when they have environment changes. Has he done any of this stuff prior to being in jail is the question that should be asked. Now, I want to ask you guys what your opinion is. Do you all think that this individual showed any outward symptoms of schizophrenia prior to this particular situation? If you guys do, give me a yes in the comment section. If you guys think that he did not, then give me a no in the comment section. And real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 52 people watching, and we got 49 likes. If everybody could take a moment and bang on that like button and get us to 80, that'd be great.
Defendant Mr. Chi demonstrated delusional thinking, experienced auditory hallucinations, engaged in self-harm in the detention center, showed fragmented thought processes, and that impeded his communication.
But here's the question though. How often has that happened? See, there should be a pattern of these kind of behaviors if this is an actual incapacitating situation that he has going on mentally, right? Would you guys agree? But if they can't show that there's been an ongoing pattern of this and he's only done this during when he committed the crime and in court and while he's been in jail, that's not enough proof to say that his mental illness makes him incompetent. What that is enough proof of is that he's manipulative. Would you guys agree? The only thing that's been established based on their assessment is the fact that this individual is highly, highly manipulative.
And so that doctor's opinion was that she likely has schizophrenia. So both doctors who did separate evaluations in September and then in November had the same determination on a lack of fitness to proceed with trial. Immediately.
So now again, how does the lack of fitness only occur once he's at trial? How did he do anything in life without a guardianship or conservatorship if he's so unfit? And how is it that he hasn't had a pattern of ongoing crimes or incidents or run-ins or societal failures up until now? He was in life doing good enough to get into graduate school on his own without any intervention or evaluation. The moment he is taking accountability for a crime, now all of a sudden the mental health has fallen apart. Make it make sense.
From court, the judge ordered that she be taken to Central Regional Hospital at Butner Prison for mental health treatment. I think a lot of people may hear that and think this means he is not going to trial, but that's not the case.
Right. Today's decision from the judge was simply that he is not currently able to understand the proceedings and assist in his own defense.
and that is the Orange County District Attorney Jeff Neiman. He explained, generally speaking, that from there, Chi may make enough of a mental recovery to go to trial, or he may not. So now it's really a waiting game to see what direction this all takes. Now, in court today, just as he did in September for his court appearance, Chi, going against the advice of the judge and his own attorneys, did directly address the court. This time, he was expressing some concern that he himself.
Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man, Win Loser Rug. We got the first stream sponsor. Make sure that you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for my man, Win Loser Rug, with the 1 month of support. And he is also a member on BLR2, and he's also a member of Reacts. So shout out to Win Loser Rug with the trifecta. Make sure you guys show him some love. And ladies and gentlemen, all we need is 14 more members before we get to 100. Here's my question. Can we do it today? All we need is 14 more before we get to 100.
Had not had time or had not been able to review the evidence in this case. That is highly unusual for a defendant to speak out in the courtroom like that. Jeff and Renee.
All right, Sarah.
All right, so there's that. All right. So now here's my question. How many people would like to see a live action? How many people would like to see a live action case of why being a sanctuary city is a bad idea? We got Win Loser Rug being the second stream sponsor with the $5 super chat. Shout out for the ducats. You know what I'm saying? A man says class in session. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and show Win Loser Rug some love. Here is a reason why being a sanctuary city is a bad idea. Now, I want you guys to watch this video. It's only 2 minutes and 13 seconds long. All right. And then after we watch the video, what I need you guys to do is I need you to ask, how do you control crime in a situation like this? Okay.
It's a disturbing trend that we've seen over the past few weeks.
Thanks for joining us at 9. I'm Dawn Hasbrook.
And I'm Anthony Ponce. 2 days in a row, groups of Venezuelan migrants were charged with burglaries in DuPage County. Casey Cronus is live in Oak Brook tonight. Casey.
Hey, Anthony and Dawn.
So I want to make sure that you guys heard that. Venezuelan migrants. Venezuelan migrants. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is it even accurate to say that a migrant got charged with anything in a sanctuary city? Because you guys see what the title says. The title says, migrants charged with retail theft released under Illinois' Safe T Act. Now, here's my question. How many people know about Illinois Safe T Act? What is the Illinois Safe T Act? Somebody let me know in the comment section.
It's a disturbing trend that we've seen over the past few weeks.
Thanks for joining us at 9. I'm Dawn Hasbrook.
And I'm Anthony Ponce. 2 days in a row, groups of Venezuelan migrants were charged with burglaries in DuPage County. Casey Cronus is live in Oak Brook tonight. Casey.
Hey, Anthony and Dawn. In both cases, the thieves were using devices to try and trick the store's security systems. Now, officials are investigating whether the incidents are connected. In a crowded Oak Brook shopping center, prosecutors say 2 men from Venezuela were caught stealing $750 in clothing from Macy's. When police tried,
man, they knew exactly where to go. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. If y'all went to Venezuela, would y'all know a high-end store to go to steal from? I want people to name me premium stores and premium outlets in Venezuela where you would go to. If worse came to worse and you had to live that dirt life, if you had to live that slime life, if you had to go to Venezuela and get on, say for instance, you had a passport excursion, you know what I'm saying? You was on your passport bro stuff and you end up getting stuck down there in Venezuelan. Your lady friend that you was down there with decided to start acting funny. You out on the street. Now you out here like Biggie and the Mad Rapper. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Where you about to go? Where you about to get something from? I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to get anything to eat at in Venezuela unless it was something that I recognize from here in the United States. But they know exactly where to go. They went to Macy's. Let me ask y'all this. How did they know to go to Macy's? How did they know to go to a mall? How did they know that what that thing was a mall? It's not obvious that malls are malls. You know what I'm saying? It could have been a warehouse or something. Shout out to Kid Gravity. Make sure you guys show Kid Gravity some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat. Safety, cashless bail, which means you steal $700 worth of stuff, get out of jail free card. Safety, the Illinois Safety Act is a get out of jail free card. You know what I'm saying?
Police tried to stop them. One of the men refused, trying to get away before he was brought to the ground.
So now, mind you, they already practicing, right? He was resisting arrest, and mind you, this definitely was safety, Operation Protect the W boy. You know what I'm saying? Like Torian's series over there on his channel, because he resisted arrest and then was brought in alive and then got released. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Lloyd Sky 9 with the $5 super chat, matching win, lose, or rug. Make sure you guys throw some radiation emoji in the chat and show Lloyd Sky 9 some love. Lloyd Sky 9 says there is a 50% projected decrease in the U.S. dollar's value by sometime next year. This will only get worse. It is, in fact, planned chaos. So that's a great point, and shout out to you for bringing that up. You guys remember when we talked about preserving purchasing power parity? What it sounds like to me that Lloyd Sky 9 just posted into the chat is a great case for making sure that you have your portfolio organized in a way where your purchasing power parity is protected. You know what I'm saying? So when I say make sure that your purchasing power parity is protected, what does that mean? And how do you do it? Because that's important. You know what I'm saying?
security systems. Now, officials are investigating whether the incidents are connected. In a crowded Oak Brook shopping center, prosecutors say two men from Venezuela were caught stealing $750 in clothing from Macy's. When police tried to stop them, one of the men refused, trying to get away before he was brought to the ground and handcuffed.
They went in with a foil-lined bag, which again is designed to defeat the theft detection system that is installed at the store.
One day earlier on Black Friday, 3 migrants, also from Venezuela, who've been living in Waukegan, allegedly took $500 worth of merchandise from Kohl's in Elmhurst.
So how did they know to go to Kohl's? Yeah, right, Vince. Facts. Here go my question. How did they know to go to Kohl's? That's facts. Shout out to Lloyd Sky 9. You have to place certain amounts of your portfolio into non-depreciating assets or investments. Also, you have to you have to match up the beta coefficients of those respective assets and make sure that you have the ones and the negative ones properly evened so that the volatility counteracts. When the dollar goes up, the idea is that the other ones will either stay the same or go down. When the dollar goes down, the idea is that the other ones go up above what the dollar went down. So you can counteract, in most cases, currency prices with things like commodities. Anytime the dollar goes down, gold happens to go up. These are things that you can do so that you don't get hit with worthless fiat money in case of an economic crisis. You know what I'm saying? There's as long as people have been talking about an impeding economic crisis, and as long as people have been talking about chaos being planned and all of that stuff, there is absolutely no excuse for people who have been paying attention to this kind of stuff to not at least be somewhat prepared. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse.
In that case, they were carrying a large magnet to thwart the store's anti-theft devices. All 5 people were arrested and charged, but DuPage County State's Attorney Robert Berlin says under the Safety Act, all but one of those offenders has been released.
Judges have very limited discretion in detaining those defendants.
He tells us.
Well, how is it that the government? I want you guys to listen. How is it that the judge has very limited discretion in detaining those defendants? I want to ask you guys this question. How is this particular situation that this guy on TV is describing, how is that even a thing? How is that even a thing? How does that work? Make it make sense. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 63 people watching and 58 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 90, that'd be great.
Very limited discretion in detaining those defendants.
He tells us there have already been 3 cases where migrants have failed to appear in court.
And the difficulty in finding them is a real problem. In fact, in one of the cases, when the judge was issuing the warrant for the defendant's address, it said tent.
Saturday wasn't the first time the Macy's here at Oakbrook Center has been hit in.
Okay, I want you guys to pay attention to that right there. Did you guys catch that at the end? And I don't know how he said that with a straight face. Shout out to him. But they're not able to serve warrants or go apprehend these people because on the address line, it says tent. And they're making more tent locations, which means that there's going to be a bunch of people with on their that where their address looks like this. Where do we deliver the package? To tent. What? I'm going to start using that as my address. Why not? And I'm going to ask the person to write it in for me. Can you write it in for me? What's your address, sir? Tent. Like, you can't make this up, man. These are goofy problems. This is a goofy problem that could possibly lead to the downfall of America. Ransacked by a bunch of people whose address simply says tent. That's like old boy on the Chappelle show. The dude who only has a first name and a last name like Wolverine, but his name is Tron. You know what I'm saying?
Warrant for the defendant's address, it said tent.
He's so frustrated, but I get it though. Man, that's crazy. This is stupid. It don't get no dumber than this. Like, man, this can't be the government that's ruling the world, man. He's so serious. He mad as hell. And we can't find these motherfuckers because when we look up their address, it just simply says tent.
Is a real problem. In fact, in one of the cases, when the judge was issuing the warrant for the defendant's address, it said tent.
It's not real. It is not real, man. This is not real. We are actually this is a live action first world problem. This is a live action first world problem for real. This is when you make shit complicated just to make shit complicated. We gonna make your job complicated just because. Hey, that's fact. Shout out to Carlton Way. Yo, KG, are you still in here? Carlton Way said you should turn this into a clip. Yo, if y'all agree with Carlton and y'all think that he should turn this into a clip, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't, then give me a thumbs down. I think he should too. This is hilarious.
Saturday was.
Hold on, man. I gotta hear that one more time. Then we back.
Them is a real problem. In fact, in one of the cases, when the judge was issuing the warrant for the defendant's address, it said tent.
He's so mad.
Saturday wasn't the first time the Macy's here at Oakbrook Center has been hit in recent weeks. On Halloween, 2 Venezuelan migrants allegedly made off with more than $2,800 worth of merchandise before being caught a short time later.
And so now, again, like, what happened to these people? Bro, that's facts. That's facts. Shout out to Jacoby. Jacoby says, sometimes people are so smart, they're dumb and continue to keep voting for the same people or the same party over and over. Facts. Facts. Yeah, man, you ain't never lied, Still Kevin Trees. Do y'all agree with Still Kevin Trees? This is facts. They'll start suing the tent companies instead of doing something about them being to add to the goofiness. Yo, that's facts. That's facts. Oh, it's supposed to have a locking zip from the out. It's supposed to have a locking zip from the outside so we can keep track of these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. This is see. We don't even need to say nothing else. We don't even need to say nothing else, man. So, how many people heard about this unprecedented surge at the border? There's a city called Lukeville, Arizona, and they're dealing with a crazy surge in migrants coming from the southern border. Now, we're going to be talking about the northern border later on. But remember, yesterday we talked about that migrant caravan of 7,000 people that's currently on its way to the southern border right now. Here goes my question. What's going to happen with those people? And that's facts, DeAndre. The jokes just write themselves. Biggest facts ever.
Border Protection announcing today they're temporarily closing down a port of entry in Eagle Pass, Texas, to help deal with an influx of migrants illegally crossing.
Here in Arizona, the Tucson sector has temporarily reduced staff at the Lukeville port of entry to assist Border Patrol agents, also seeing a rise in illegal crossings. Fox 10's Marissa Sarback joins us live from a migrant crossing area right now. Marissa.
Yeah, John, Christina, and it has certainly been busy here all afternoon. We are about a mile from the port of entry in Lukeville, where many of those migrants come through to get apprehended by Border Patrol agents. Now, CBP actually says that they saw a decrease in migrant crossings in October, but in November, we saw an increase, which is why they needed to move some of that personnel from the port of entry to this migrant area where you see many of the crossings. Now, take a look behind me. We've seen, again, a steady...
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts, Black Bitcoin Key. But here go the problem, though. I don't get enough, you know what I'm saying? I don't get enough monetization to just throw my shit into a yellow dollar sign to say illegals just to say it. The only way that I can say it, according to the YouTube community guidelines, is if I reference it, for the most part, the way that it's referenced in the mainstream media. Which is one of the reasons why we need to have our own shit, because then we could call it what it is however we want to. But when on YouTube, got to follow YouTube's rules, because they will call the quote unquote term illegals derogatory or hate speech. You know what I'm saying? which is one of the reasons why I say illegal border crossing, and I always make sure that I say illegal border crossing or illegal immigration. Right. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Got to get them ducats, man. And got to keep the platform too. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep the platform too. Until we can make our own, or until somebody makes their own and say, hey, come over here. We created a YouTube alternative that caters to Black content creators like Rumble. Come on over and we'll pay you like YouTube pays you. Yeah, hell yeah, I'll dual stream. I'm not going to leave YouTube, but I'll dual stream the same way I dual stream to Rumble. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't seem that that's a necessity yet. Hence why it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Maybe one of these days, if that pops up, I'll be there. And I'll even do separate streams. Yeah, exactly. See, and Torian, shout out to Torian. This is why I say south of the Bordarian and not so secret invasioners. I think it has caught on. Yeah, big facts. That's why we say sombrerito instead of that particular word. Facts. Facts. And here's the thing, Black Bitcoin Key. It's designed like we can't even talk about certain historical events because the people who those certain historical events allegedly involved will utilize their value chains to destroy everything that we built because we haven't decided to build tight and strong enough value chains to be able to combat that. So since that has yet to be a priority, we're still in survival mode fighting nuclear weapons with sticks and stones because for whatever reason, people just think that's an effective combat strategy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sybil. What's good with it, Sybil? You know what I mean?
The increase all throughout the day, all throughout the afternoon. We got here about 2 o'clock, which is when CBP actually shut that area and not shut it down, but they had redirected some of the personnel from that port over to this area just to assist those border.
Hey, we call the crazy guy in Germany. I'll treat you like we call the crazy guy in Germany Old Dolph. Cut it. Cut it. We call him Old Dolph. You know what I'm saying? That's what I call Carlton calling him Old Dolph. You know what I'm saying? Or White Dolph.
Patrol agents. Now, Tucson is a massive sector. It's significantly larger than Yuma, which is our other sector here in Arizona. It's 262 miles wide. The agency says it's one of their busiest for illegal crossings. They have almost 4,000 agents working in this sector. The port of entry in Lukeville, where people cross legally, is less than a mile from where we're at.
Shout out to Hop. What's good with it, bro?
Significantly longer wait times already because of the lack of staff operating it. We spoke with some Americans who were coming back across, and they said it was a 2-hour wait. That was about an hour ago. CBP says Eagle Pass, Texas, has seen a similar increase.
So even over here, right? I want y'all to pay very close attention to this. When the New York Times is doing the articles about New York City, they show the African migrants. Look here at Eagles Pass, Texas, they showing the African migrants. Right, that's facts. Torian said, plot twist, those who look like Pequeña Taipa can't even say something about them without losing something. Facts. We have to change the precedent. Big facts. Big facts. We gotta change the precedent. And we gotta also change the paradigm. You know what I'm saying?
Migrants crossing illegally lately, forcing one of their ports of entry to close temporarily. So again, we didn't see that closure here in Lukeville, but we did see a reduction in staff at that port of entry. Now, we spoke with some of the migrants here in Lukeville today, most of them coming from Guinea. One man says it took him 3 weeks to get here, and a good portion of that trip was by foot. He says he is seeking political asylum with his wife.
We have a very, very, very difficult in
So now they even interviewed one of the African immigrants. So again, every single time we talk about this, we're going to ask these questions, and then we're going to go over the data as the data appears. But why does the media continue to show these images of these African immigrants? That's the question. Why does the media continue to show these images of these African immigrants as if the African immigrants make up the majority of the immigrants, of the migrants, of the illegal border crossers? You know what I'm saying? Because Black Bitcoin Key is right. That's exactly what they are. They are illegally crossing the border. They are illegal border crossers. That is a crime. They're committing a crime. Now, it's not hate speech if you call a killer a killer. It's not a hate speech if you call a thief a thief. But this is hate speech. Talking about this particular kind of crime. Make that make sense.
In Guinea, the poverty, the persecution, tortures. No, my life is in danger. He make the fire in my shop.
And we asked a spokesperson for CBP how long we will see this reduction in personnel at the port of entry there in Lukeville, and how long we'll see them here at the areas where migrants typically cross illegally. He said it's until that becomes more of a manageable level for these Border Patrol agents. Reporting live in Lukeville, Marissa Sarbach for Fox 10 News. John, Christina.
Marissa, a couple of things. Number one, when the border agents are being moved to areas to process people coming in claiming asylum, they can't really protect the border at that point because all the resources are going toward managing people trying to get into the country.
Right. So what this news anchor said is absolutely right. So that when they move the border agents to different locations, they're not replacing those people in those particular places with anybody. So now my question for you guys is, as they move those people and they're not replacing those people, they're creating vulnerable areas that can then be targeted by a surge of migrants and overrun the weakened area with less staffing and support there. So all they're doing is just creating little weak spots all over the border that can be exploited by these migrant caravans, by these coyotes, by illegal border crossers, by everybody, with no solution in sight. You know what I'm saying?
To areas to process people coming in claiming asylum, they can't really protect the border at that point because all the resources are going toward managing people trying to get into the country.
It's interesting. So the ones that are moving are actually CBP. So they fall under the personnel title for Customs and Border Protection under that umbrella, but they're not specifically Border Patrol agents. They work the ports. Their job is now to assist these Border Patrol agents. So they kind of have a different job, but right now they're going to be working this open area in between the wall where you see these openings like behind me.
And Marissa, we've seen a pretty steady flow across the border of migrants coming across, but what's the reason for this latest surge?
We're actually not sure, and CBP releases those numbers monthly. We're not sure why the spike right now. As you heard earlier, October was down, so it's interesting to see the increase here, the jump for November. We don't really have a reason why. Of course, we're always interested to see where these migrants are coming from, and things have certainly changed. Even depending on the sectors that you're in, it changes where you see people coming in from. Most of the people in this group, though, came from Guinea, so it's just interesting to see how those numbers change and how...
Man, this dude right here look like he got messed up, don't he? Y'all see him on the side of the screen there, on that end screen button there? Damn. So now here goes my question for you guys. How many people in here are going to be voting for Biden in 2024? I really hope that nobody is, but I'm sure there's one or two people and they won't admit it, but it's all good though. You can, you know what I'm saying? You'll be all right. You're not going to get blocked or anything. You know, you might be subject to a little bit of light roasting, you know what I'm saying? But you're not going to get blocked. But so this dude right here that looks like Lenny Wilkens, the former Cleveland Cavaliers coach, is interviewing this former Biden voter. And he's asking her if she's going to support Biden in 2024. Yeah, that dude was beat up bad. Facts. Yeah, I gotta agree. The overwhelming amount of people is saying hell to the no. I think that Democrats need to deal with a lack of black support for as long of a time period as they've wasted black people's time. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
It's time for Seen and Unseen, where we reveal the story behind the headlines. For that, we turn to Fox News contributor Raymond Arroyo. Raymond, I hear there was some commotion at the White House this week.
Jason, we were covering the turkey pardon for Fox and Friends, which will be airing tomorrow morning. I'll be joining them. But when I left the White House, we encountered a group of pro-Palestinian protesters outside the White House. They were less than happy with the president and his foreign policy. Watch.
We want ceasefire now. We want to stop this genocide.
Hey, do Carlton need some tomatoes thrown at him? I'm gonna let y'all take care of that. Shout out to Deneen. What's good with it, Deneen? If Carlton needs some tomatoes thrown at him, go ahead, get him together real quick.
What would you say to those who say Hamas provoked this?
That's absolutely lie. There's no evidence that Hamas attacked.
Israel killed their own people.
Absolutely.
The decision makers, like the fool in this office, that decides that it's okay to kill civilians. He's a war criminal himself.
If Hamas is a terrorist organization, then IDF is a terrorist organization. IDF is a bigger terrorist organization, if you ask me.
You believe the Israeli retaliation to the Hamas attack is a genocide?
Let's not even talk about October 7th, because what about October 8, October 9, October 10, October 11? Let's keep going.
Over 6,000 children have been genocide massacred by our own president here.
Man, it be going down outside the White House, man. Man, it be going down outside the White House. Listen, man, you will never catch me anywhere near any kind of political protest, any kind of rally. Never, ever, ever, never.
He's the one that's funding Israel and backing them up and giving them the green light to kill us.
You know, Jason, you watch this, and when I heard those folks and you listen to the protests, it is a poisonous idea. You know, invoking history, whether real or imagined, to justify barbarity, and then turn the tables and say, no.
Now look at this, invoking history to justify barbarity. But when it comes to people like this individual here, they literally celebrate their history of how they massacred a bunch of different people, including our ancestors. They also go as far as to say that people's history isn't true because they don't like how it makes them feel. Yeah, the White House looking real hood right now.
It is a poisonous idea, you know, invoking history, whether real or imagined, to justify barbarity, and then turn the tables and say,
what do they mean, real or imagined? Now, here's my question. Whose history is imagined? Let's start there, because there are some people who have imagined history, but it ain't us. And that's who he was aiming that comment at. Yeah, exactly. Still Kevin Shreve's fact. That's what I want to know. I want to know whose history this individual is implying is imagined out of anybody in the world, even beyond ours. I'm just curious whose history is imagined. Right. Facts. There goes one right there. But I bet you that's not what he's talking about, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, Jason, you watch this, and when I heard those folks and you listen to the protests, it is a poisonous idea, you know, invoking history, whether real or imagined, to justify barbarity, and then turn the tables and say, no, you're.
Isn't that what the? Okay, let's stop here, right? So he says that invoking history to justify barbarity isn't the invocation of history the reason why the country that these people have an issue with is even in existence in the location that it's in? Isn't that an invocation of history? Why is the particular nation that they are in where it is and has the amount of weapons and the allies that it has, as well as the quote-unquote settlements. The entire existence is based on an invocation of history from many different sources, one of which Cameron got up on the screen right here. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
To justify barbarity and then turn the tables and say, no, you're practicing genocide here. Well, the Israelis didn't ask for, for their civilians, women and children to be slaughtered, in the morning.
You know what's interesting? He said that they didn't ask for their women and children to be deleted in the morning. I'm pretty sure we're going to assume for a moment that this is true. I'm going to assume neither did the Egyptians. But who did the Egyptians' firstborns get slaughtered by on behalf of? Some people that claim to be somehow associated with these people right here involved in this particular situation right here. Again, another invocation of history. Some of it imagined. Now, if we talk about identity, there's a lot of creative imagination going on there, but we're not even able to talk about that. They've outlawed that kind of speech. So make it make sense. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 71 people watching and we got 79 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 100, that'd be great.
Unprovoked. That's what happened here. And you see this reaction, but they are angry.
Yo, shout out to my man Hoop Jargon. What's good with it, bro? Yo, if y'all like sports content, basketball, make sure that y'all go and check out my man Hoop Jargon's channel. You know what I'm saying? He over there doing his thing. Shout out to you, bro.
And they're angry at this president.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the divide among the Democrats and what's going on there. But that lady, she did not want to talk about October 7th. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They just dismiss the barbarity. And how about, well, didn't Hamas start this? And she said, no, it's a lie. Oh, okay. The latest polling shows that Biden's support among Arab Americans, by the way, has fallen to 17%. That's a 42 percentage point drop from 2000.
So look, check this out, man. I want to ask you guys this question. Is Biden losing support with every group of people? What do you guys think? Is he losing support with every group of people? That's what it seems like. Not looking good for him in 2024.
Now, I talked to some of these protesters about why they're turning on the president and who they'll support next time. Watch.
Did you vote for Joe Biden? Unfortunately, I did, and that was the biggest mistake of my life. Will you vote for him again? Never.
Did you support President Biden in the last election?
I did, and I will never support him.
Did you support President Biden in the last election, and will you support him now?
No, I will not support him.
See, so this is interesting, right? Because this definitely makes the case that everybody is talking about how the undocumented bros come to the United States and then they flip conservative. Oh, I believe it, bro. I believe it. And and Joe Biden deserves every bit of loss that he's enduring right now. As a matter of fact, the entire Democratic Party should be tanking. You know what I'm saying? It should be tanking.
Last time, yes, I did.
Why not this time?
I will not vote for Biden. I don't vote for anyone that supports genocide.
Did you support President Biden?
I did, unfortunately, I did.
And are you going to support him again?
Hell no.
Man, why is she screaming like that? Can we take a moment and ask that?
I don't vote for anyone that supports.
I want to ask an even better question. Is that lady that was screaming like that, is she really Palestinian?
Did you support President Biden?
I did, unfortunately, I did.
Why is she screaming like that? I'm confused.
Are you going to support it again?
Hell no!
Hell no. Yeah, look, Jason, as you know better than I, Virginia, Michigan, there are key states where you have a large Arab population. They are not happy with this president, and they may stay home this time out.
Yeah, I don't know that they have anybody on their ballot except, Rashida Tlaib, I guess, is their hero, but I don't know where they go.
Yeah. Well, and as the White House is losing.
What do you guys think about that comment right there? It's amazing how they just get blatant with it, right? But then when you say something, you're anti-white.
Losing support with Arab Americans, the president seems more interested in speaking to Americans that are too young to vote.
And by the way, I like kids better than people. And I love your ears. I love them. They're really cool. What's your name? Catherine. Catherine, what a beautiful name. That's my mommy's name. Well, nice to see. How old are you, 17? 6.
Jason, anytime he's around.
Yo, here goes my question for you guys. Can we all say that Joe Biden is a complete weirdo? Like this, not only is he a clown, he's a weirdo. Like, you can barely make it through your speech. Please don't try to do anything else in life impromptu. Would you guys agree, like, impromptu is a bad look on Joe Biden?
Children is always awkward, uncomfortable, and weird. I mean, who talks to children that way?
It's a little scary, a little spooky because there's.
I'll tell you who talks to children that way. A person that creates a child who grows up to be an adult like Hunter Biden is somebody that talks to children that way. That's who does it.
So many videos like that. But Raymond, I hear the government is urging the public to be cautious with their meal preparations this Thanksgiving. What are they telling us?
Well, Jason, they should have issued a warning to those children about Biden coming close. But the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission issued their annual public service announcement about the dangers of frying a turkey. This time they set it to music.
Hey, man. See, how many of y'all did that on Thanksgiving right there? And Fire Marshal Bill stuff. Now, this air fryer commercial right here, this actually looks like it was Joe Biden that was trying to cook this damn turkey. Or it was either Hunter Biden trying to light his meth pipe and it exploded.
Preparations this Thanksgiving. What are they telling us?
Well, Jason, they should have issued a warning to those children about Biden coming close. But the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission issued their annual public service announcement about the dangers of frying a turkey. This time they set it to music. Well, Jason, look. Here's the reality. These accidents of home fires, kitchen fires, they rise 3 times during the holiday, 3 times as much during this holiday season. That's mostly due to these fryers. So beware, keep your eyes on those fryers and don't.
Okay, we gotta have a serious talk. How many of you all have ever done that in your kitchen? Y'all ever burnt up some shit like that before? Don't lie. If y'all ever burnt up y'all kitchen like that before, give me a thumbs up. If y'all haven't, give me a thumbs down. I ain't never burnt up my kitchen like that before. Now, I got a question for you guys. The people of Chicago have spoken, and nobody is happy with the migrant encampments being built, the tent cities. I don't know what kind of vote is necessary. Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for Hoop Jargon. Hoop Jargon damn near burnt his house down. I ain't mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Shit happens. It's all good, bro. I'm glad you're still here with us. You know what I'm saying? You made it to the chat. You made it to the chat. Why is the city of Chicago still moving forward with the Brighton Park encampments? Why is that happening? The people have spoken. They've shown how much they are not interested in that occurring, and yet and still they continue to do it. Why?
A winterized migrant camp is expected to be built today despite pushback from residents. That's what one alderwoman told her constituents.
And she says the city of Chicago is moving forward with plans to convert a vacant lot into an encampment. Our MC5's Lisa Chavarria live in the control center this morning with the latest. Lisa.
Michelle and JC, the construction is expected to start today at a vacant lot in the Brighton Park neighborhood. That's what the 12th Ward Alderwoman Julia Ramirez shared with her constituents on Instagram. Now, this reads in part, quote, she says, "Let me be clear. I am opposed to the construction of this site, especially as the full environmental impact study results have not been shared with my office or with the community. Construction of the winterized migrant."
So now that's important, right? Because these environmental impact studies, what people are saying about this area where they plan on putting this encampment is that there used to be a factory here, and they're saying that the land around this area is very contaminated. That's what they're saying. And what's interesting about it is they haven't released any of this information to the public. They've also put up fences, and they're not allowing anybody to record or anything. So I want to ask, when it comes to them building this and how they're dealing with this, how much of this stuff is constitutional versus unconstitutional? That's my question for you guys. Let me know.
Migrant camp is expected to start today at this vacant lot near 38th and California. The controversial location has sparked several protests, including an incident where the alderwoman reported being assaulted while she was in a crowd that gathered near the site. 6 residents filed a lawsuit earlier.
Now, see, do you guys remember? We talked about that situation where the alderwoman got attacked, or she got surrounded, whatever they want to say, because they say different things depending on who's reporting it. We talked about that, I want to say maybe about 2 weeks ago. That was in Brighton Park. So clearly, the people clearly do not want this being built. But they're doing it anyway. So now my question for you guys is, on what authority are they doing it? Now, here's the thing that's interesting, right? I think that if they're able to get a vote to revoke the sanctuary city status, I think that the government, this will be probably the first time that you'll ever see something like this. I actually think that the government would attempt to overrule that vote. And it would be something unprecedented that we've never seen before. But I think that would happen. Or I think that somehow, as much as unpopular as it is, somehow it will still, quote unquote, seem like, somehow it'll, quote unquote, still seem like the vote remained for the sanctuary city. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, what do you all see as the outcome with this? They're going to build it. As you guys can see, construction on tent camps in Brighton Park begins today. So like I was saying earlier in the video, there's going to be a whole lot of more people who on their arrest warrants, it's going to be saying tent and nobody's going to know where to go. They're not going to show up in court and they're just going to be free to be out in the community committing crimes, stealing from Macy's, stealing from Kohl's. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous.
This month against the city and Mayor Johnson to try to stop the construction. The lawsuit claims the city doesn't have the authority to do this and continues to ignore city code as well as zoning law. While that plays out in court, construction, again, is expected to begin at that vacant lot today.
So now, how they haven't been able to freeze the construction. You know what I'm saying? They're going to just go ahead and go on with it anyway.
NBC5 reached out to the mayor's office yesterday about the project, and we were told that there is no update.
Now, what that means when they say that there is no update, that means that we're going to go ahead with this project. You know what I'm saying? That's the update. You know what I'm saying? The update is, guess what? We're doing this. So now they're not making just one tent city, but they're making two. Again, double the disappointment because the people of Chicago don't want any of this. This is all stuff that is extremely unpopular. So like the wild thing about this is like, you just got to ask yourself, where is the full steam ahead force coming from where like they're just doing this and it doesn't matter what the people of the community say. Like the people in those communities, we're going to be looking at the Brighton Park Town Hall meeting tomorrow. Those people are upset. I think one of the things that they're upset about is that they're finding out how little their vote actually matters. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with a little bit of culture shock.
Judy, that's right. There's been a lot of activity here today, but no construction just yet. However, both city and state officials saying that despite delays that have been brought about by environmental concerns at the site here, they do hope to get the construction underway, not just here, but also at a second brick and mortar site in Little Village later this week. Gravel-filled trucks entered this Brighton Park lot at 38th Street in California this morning as the city began the process of delivering and staging equipment in preparation for the eventual erection of a winterized base camp for migrants here.
It's not the ideal, but it's better than outside today in the cold.
Contracted to deliver services to migrants at the soon-to-be shelter, Matt DeMatteo says New Life Centers will help those settled here to move out and into permanent housing as quickly as possible. It is the same job they will perform at a newly announced brick and mortar shelter in Little Village.
So again, like they're putting these places up for these migrants to stay all over the place. Now, what I want you guys to pay attention to, and I think one of the questions that the people need to be asking is why did Chicago, why did New York, why did Denver, why did California, why did none of these liberal cities do any of this for the homeless crisis that all of these places are experiencing? And I want to ask you guys, what's your guess about why the homeless people were not given the kind of service that the migrants are being given? I think that that's a fair and valid question. You know what I'm saying? What's you guys' thoughts on it?
Which, according to state officials, is this shuttered CVS at 26th Street and Pulaski.
The goal, hopefully it'll be up in the next 2 weeks and have a space and a place for people to be. So details will be.
And here goes another question for you guys. You see this guy, Matt DeMatteo? How much money do you guys think that he's going to make off of his contract of whatever he's doing with New Life Centers of Chicago? Now, here goes my question, right? How many FBA businesses got contracts like this where they can go in and capitalize, because he's capitalizing off of the migrant situation, and capitalize off of the migrant situation? Yeah, and see, shout out to Beach Material. Beach Material asked a similar question to what I'm asking. Beach Material said, I noticed none of those construction workers are black. Why are certain jobs only going to certain demographics? I'm going to tell you why. The reason why they're going to certain demographics is because we don't control any of them. If we controlled them, we could get the jobs to our demographics, but we don't control them. And since we don't control them, those people can and will do whatever they want to and manipulate the law to facilitate them doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got to control shit. We got to own shit. We got to get resources. We got to build businesses. We got to build networks. We should never, ever have to look to other people to provide anything for us. If you're looking to someone to provide a job, a paycheck, and anything for you, you're already at a severe disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why these people are not, quote unquote, giving black people jobs is because they look at that as a handout. We should they're looking at that like you people should have your own businesses so that we don't have to deal with you. Now, the thing is that, you know, there's always double standards. They would expect us to do the all lives matter thing while they're exclusive with what they're doing. But we got to create and have our own resources and our own value chains and be highly exclusive with what we got going on. We got to play the same game. Anytime we look at any of these situations where there's, quote unquote, a particular demographic getting hired or where there's not any black people getting hired, the answer to that question is easy. Look and see who owns the business. I guarantee you the people that own the business hire people that are similar to them or compatible with them. The reality is that the world hates us, which means that they'll do whatever they can to either harm us or to isolate us, which means that it would be a very naive notion for us to assume that we'll ever be able to break bread doing business civilly with the rest of the world. They've already established a pattern, and they need to be held to task on that pattern. You know what I'm saying?
Released likely in the next week.
Construction on the Brighton Park site was initially believed to begin today, prompting residents, many of whom have been protesting the planned shelter for 6 weeks now, to gather here yesterday and then again today.
Some towns in the state of Illinois are 2,000 people. Here you're putting them in a condensed area and expect them to be okay.
According to the mayor's office, construction has been delayed in order to continue mitigation efforts on the land, which has long been known to be polluted. Longtime 12th Ward sources telling ABC7 this school at 38th Street in St. Louis was only constructed here after it was determined in 2008 that cleaning up this still empty lot was too expensive to make it worth it. A spokesperson for the mayor saying mitigation strategies are ongoing and anticipated for completion by the end of this week, weather permitting.
So now let me ask you guys a question. Does Mayor Brandon Johnson want to do what the people want him to do? Does he want to represent the people, or does he want to get these illegal immigration shelters, these illegal border crossing housings? Does he want to get those complete? What is Brandon Johnson's priority is my question for you guys in the comment section. And speaking of you guys in the comment section, shout out to each and every one of you. I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys have not smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. We got 88 people watching and we got 93 likes. All we need is 7 more likes to get our 100. Please smash that like button. If you haven't shared the stream out, share the stream out. And if you know somebody from Chicago, New York, Denver, one of these areas, make sure that you tag them in your share so that they can check out the content and see what's going on. Shout out to Soapbox Moments. What's good with it, bro?
The city is confident that the property will be suited for the purpose for which it will be used. Now, while both shelter sites, both here and in Little Village, were identified by the city, it is the state that is shouldering the bill. And officials there told us this afternoon that they expect to have both shelters up and running sometime in mid-December.
So you see, they already got a time frame. Like basically what that means, basically what they're saying is whether you guys like it or not, this is going down. whether you guys like it or not, which is just wild. I've literally I've never seen something like this, as far as just deciding to not acknowledge the wishes of the people at all. Have you all ever seen just blatant disregard for the wishes of a constituency like this? If you guys have ever seen anything like this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not, give me a thumbs down. It's gotten so bad that Chicago residents are now taking the city to court over the handling of the migrant housing. Now, here's my question for you guys. How do you all feel that these court proceedings are going to go as far as the people of the city of Chicago versus the government of Chicago? Here's the thing. I believe that because the courts are employees of the government of Chicago, I don't think that the court is really going to rule in favor of the people. I hate to say that. Shout out to Cutthroat Nash. What's good with it, bro? I hate to say that. And I got to agree with Natural Moments. If you guys agree with Natural Moments, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. The mayor is doing what he's told to do. I agree with that. Here's my question. Who's telling him to do it and why?
Yes, police are guarding the site, and you saw from Chopper 7 that gravel is being laid here at this empty.
Yo, shout out to Dr. Thunder. What's good with it, bro? Yo, if y'all not subscribed to my man Dr. Thunder's channel, make sure y'all go over there and check out his channel. He got good content.
At 38th in California, 2 South Shore residents in the meantime appear virtually in front of a judge after filing a lawsuit against the city. They want to file an injunction to stop the city from using public spaces for migrant use. A lawsuit brought on by 2 South Shore residents, Natasha Dunn and Jimmy Darrell Jones, is intended to stop Mayor Brandon Johnson and the city of Chicago from...
Man, what's crazy is that these people put him in office. I want everybody to sit back. Yeah, exactly, Cutthroat Nash. And that's one of the reasons why I tell people extra political means is the most effective way to get stuff done. You see how them folks made Elon Musk bend the knee. They didn't use the government. They used extra political means, and they used their business connections in order to get other businesses to cut off his money supply. This is a great question, and I'm curious as to what you guys think. So what is the point of voting if these politicians are going to do what they want? Because Brandon Johnson is clearly doing what he wants. Or he's doing what somebody wants him to do. Whether he's doing what he wants or whether he's doing what somebody wants him to do, what we can all agree on and what's all blatantly obvious is that he's not doing anything that the majority of his constituents want. So much so that he's now being sued by the very people that put him into office. That is, I hate to say it, man, but that's a really bad look, Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Spaces for migrant use. A lawsuit brought on by 2 South Shore residents, Natasha Dunn and Jimmy Darrell Jones, is intended to stop Mayor Brandon Johnson and the city of Chicago from housing migrants in public parks, police stations, so-called tent camps, and public schools, including South Shore High School. The case will now move on to another division of the court. In the meantime, gravel is being laid down at one of those future campsites, and equipment is arriving here at 38th in California, despite weeks of protests by residents here. We talked to one protester who asked us not to show her face to protect her identity.
I want to hear something too.
Hey, listen to this protester right here is an undocumented cis. This is what I'm saying about these people in Brighton Park. These people in Brighton Park are like first, second generation they damn self. Don't want immigrants coming in. Y'all, listen to her accent, y'all.
Something too from the mayor, please, because we support him when he rode in the office. He's supposed to think the community first.
People who live in the area say soil tests from the lots here in Brighton Park show the land is contaminated with toxic metals.
Hey, shout out to Carlton, man. Carlton said, took us 60 years to realize this about voting. I don't think that it took 60 years to realize this about voting. I think that it took some people 60 years to realize this about voting. I think that there was a small percentage of people that said, Joe, this is stupid. But what ends up happening is that there's a certain particular type of people or person that a large amount of people like, and they follow behind those particular type of people and don't listen to anything anybody else says. And then when the stove starts to get hot, then everybody's acting like they don't know what the hell happened. People got to get out of that shit. Get out of it. Or like Unicron said to Megatron when he started talking shit, proceed to oblivion.
And is not safe, and they do not want the city to disrupt the area.
This land is get poisoned. They used to be a factory. They contaminated. It's not fit for the human to live. And the
She said it's contaminated, and this is not fit for a human to live. So she know about the chemicals there. Ah, facts. Cutthroat Nash in the comment section dropping bars. You know what I'm saying?
And the government tell us they will do the soil test. What is the tax result? We don't see nothing.
If this legal action moves forward,
Check out Jacoby. Shout out to Jacoby, right? Jacoby says, where is Butter Biscuit Roland Martin at mentioning this? I haven't heard him say anything. I want to ask you guys a question because that's actually a good point, and we should actually talk about that. Why is Roland Martin really not covering the migrant crisis? There's a lot of people that's not really covering the migrant crisis very much. Now, here goes the thing, right? Now, people can sit there and say as much, because, you know, we joke about the grift over here. You know what I'm saying? People can sit up there and say, oh, you sitting up there grifting about the migrant crisis. I got 2 immigration playlists on this channel right here and on my other channels. I was doing videos about immigration for a long time. Then, you know, decided to come up with a little theme and, you know what I'm saying, like make it kind of, you know, make it kind of welcoming. Give it a little title, call it Undocumented Bros. You know what I'm saying? We've been talking about this for a long time. All you got to do is just look at the playlist, look at the videos. How come Roland Martin or none of the Democrat shills are talking about this? That's my question. If Roland Martin talked about this, the way that he would need to talk about it to be able to remain on the payroll, the majority of people that watch his content are not going to be very happy with the things that he says, and he knows that. So he's got to play a balancing act. If he wants to stay getting paid, he's got to do a balancing act. And in that balancing act, if he wants anybody to watch his content, he can't start Democrat shilling for the migrant issue as crazy as it's been with people dealing with the migrant issue. You know what I'm saying?
Could prevent the mayor from disrupting park programs, violating zoning laws, and he would have to disclose fully how much money is being spent on supporting incoming migrants. When construction does begin on the site, it could temporarily house up to 2,000 migrants, many of whom have been living at airports and police stations across the city. The city yet has not commented on the legal action being taken against them.
Yeah, so again, legal action is being taken against them. I don't know how effective it'll be because we're still dealing with the people who are running the city, who are the bosses of this particular thing, which is wild. You know what I'm saying? So we know that the asylum seekers are still sleeping outside. I mean, do we really got to talk about that? I don't like, this is just sympathy porn. They just, you know what I'm saying? They show you this kind of stuff and they want to pull on your heartstrings and say, oh, don't you guys feel so bad? You have a heater in your house. These people have an address called Tint and it's 0 degrees below.
Taking a live look outside on this very cold night in Chicago, and some of the migrants that have arrived here in recent months are still sleeping outside as the city works to place them in shelters. This, as our Maribel Gonzalez is learning more about the plans and funding for the winterized tent camps.
Now, here goes my question, right? A lot of them are not sleeping outside. One thing that people have not really talked about that we're going to be talking about tomorrow is that a lot of these people have been sleeping at the airport. How many people have heard about the migrant invasions of the airports? So now my question for you is, what creates the situation where you sleep outside versus a situation like what they have in San Diego where people are taking over the airports? Because that's going on too. So we're going to stop that right there to keep it in context. And then we're going to take a look at this airport takeover. If I'm not mistaken, Chicago O'Hare, we talked about Chicago O'Hare Airport. That one has been taken over by migrants as well.
Just look at that train.
I mean, like, I ain't trying to be funny, man, but it sounds like they on a roller coaster. Like, y'all just chilling on the damn train. Like, man, that's just crazy, man.
Just look at that train packed with migrants heading toward our southern border. It will stop in a Mexican city right across from Eagle Pass, Texas. And more than 1,000 miles north, 300 migrants are now living at the San Diego airport waiting for flights around the country. Bill Wells is the mayor of El Cajon, California, a suburb of San Diego, and he joins me now.
Hey, hold on real quick, man. Hold on real quick. Hold up. We got to be, damn, that's a bad picture of her pause like that. But hold on, man. We got to be petty for a quick second. Hold on.
Country. Bill Wells is...
Hey, how long did he put his stuff in the microwave for, y'all? What happened to that styrofoam tray? He had one of them turkeys blow up inside of that thing is what it looked like. You don't know how to read the numbers on the microwave, bro? That shit them collapsed. He had it in there so long. That shit them collapsed. He had it in there so long. How many of y'all ever put y'all food in the microwave and took it out and it was looking like this? Oh, man, the microwaves in America hit different, man. Yeah, I got to agree with Cutthroat Nash. Let me ask you this, bro. Have you ever heard about the Latin American prison crisis? Yeah, this dude done put this in there for 5 minutes. When he pulled this out of the microwave, it was a little piece of coal that was still burning. Right. You know what he did? I bet you, see, you know, sometimes they come with skills. I bet you he burnt up this food to get some better free food at the airport. He said the microwave no work. A microwave do work. If the microwave didn't work, it wouldn't have melted that shit like that. Oh, man. Damn, homie. You know what I'm saying? If you want your shit hot, next time just get you some hot sauce. Don't put it in the microwave and put it on Inferno. You know what I'm saying?
Is the mayor of El Cajon, California, a suburb of San Diego, and he joins me now. Mayor Wells, good morning to you. What's going on at the San Diego airport?
Morning. Well, just like you said, we've got hundreds of migrants sleeping at the airport. And the reason they're sleeping there is that there's nowhere for them to go. You know, California already has an unbelievable homeless crisis. We've got 172,000 homeless people in California. California has basically made it completely...
Hey, shout out to him, though, man, because whatever is in there, it got to be good. It must be good. Because you ain't going to keep no burnt up, messed up tray like that if it's not good. Yeah, that's facts, Deneen. This is just, it's wild. They done posted up at the damn airport like they at the drive-in. How many people go to the drive-in still? I bet you there's people in here don't even know what the drive-in is. Any of y'all still go to the drive-in? Who go to the drive-in? They posted up like it's the damn drive-in.
uncriminal to be homeless in California. And because of that, there's no places in the shelters. There's no places in the hospitals. There's no place for them to go at all. And then you add to this new migrant crisis, and things get out of control, and people have nowhere to go.
Yeah, that is so sad. It's so sad to see. No one wants to see people sleeping in an area that you shouldn't be sleeping in. Probably very uncomfortable, and it goes to show the humanitarian crisis that's taking place because of this issue. We all remember when.
Now, here go what's crazy, right? If you're trespassing like this, right? If you're trespassing like this and you're in a sanctuary city, you guys saw what we talked about that went down with those shoplifters in Chicago. You're not about to get arrested for trespassing anyway because they can't do nothing with you, which is wild. That's crazy.
And Governor Abbott and Governor Ron DeSantis sent migrants across the country and were criticized for it. And you say that the federal government is doing that very same thing right now. Explain that.
Well, that's exactly right. The federal government is bringing people over here with no places to go. It used to be that you have to have a sponsor if you came in from across the border, and that sponsor would guarantee that you had a place to go. Now they're just having San Diego be a destination. We've had 42,000 migrants in the past 2.5 months cross the border with no specific plans of where to go. They're doing what they call street releases. So there are 3 main trolley stops in the San Diego County area where street releases occur. And one of them is my town, which is about 15 miles to the east and 30 miles to the north of the border. And as a result, we're seeing lots of people come in that have no place to go. And this is exacerbating our already unimaginable homeless crisis, which California has created.
How do you feel about Governor Newsom? If you go to him and ask him for help, does his office provide it?
We get nothing from the state or federal government. There's almost no communication. There's certainly no plans to help anybody. You know, the county of San Diego recently spent $3 million on a migrant shelter that was supposed to last several months. They're running out of money after the second month. And this is local money that should be used to help local people. But this is obviously not helping whatsoever. As for the federal government, we get nothing. Alexander Mayorkas, he should be doing something about this. He should be stopping the people crossing the border, but he's not doing his job. Governor Newsom is doing nothing to help the problem, just a lot of rhetoric and happy talk about how things are going to be great. But
man, things are not going to be great. Here goes my question. Do you all notice how nothing is being talked about as far as it goes in regards to the existing homeless crisis that this is happening on top of? The reason why is because this plus the homeless crisis, these cities, these localities, everything is out of control. Y'all remember on Martin, White Mike? Cole's out of control. Gina's out of control. Martin's out of control. Tommy's out of control. The party's out of control, man. Y'all remember that? These cities, these situations, they out of control.
We're also being gaslit significantly. What I mean by gaslighting is they're telling you there's no problem. There's no problem with the border. Everything's under control. Where our own eyes can tell us that there's everything but no problem. It is a significant problem.
It certainly is. We were just looking.
Now, I want to ask y'all this question, man. How many of you guys have seen the Darien Gap? Do you guys remember for a while they were doing migrant content and they were talking about, oh, they're crossing the most dangerous region in the southern hemisphere, the jungle called the Darien Gap. Do you guys remember all the content that they did about the Darien Gap? And then it was hot in Google, hot in the algorithm. Everybody looking up, what's the Darien Gap? The Darien Gap is the Indiana Jones shit. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen any of those movies where Indiana Jones was in South America and all them people come out with the blow darts, you know what I'm saying? And he's going through the jungle, cutting trees down and got snakes all on him. He like, Dad, I hate snakes. That's the Darien Gap. How are these people bringing their families through that without military training is my question. Or without just any kind of like outdoor skill. You know what I'm saying? On the movie Indiana Jones, right? Indiana Jones was a field archaeologist. And he always had an assistant. And he had a difficult time getting through those regions of South America. You mean we're supposed to believe that pregnant women and, you know what I'm saying, people with entire families with like 6 and 7 years old, people that got kids that's in the terrible twos. You mean to tell me we supposed to believe that they got through there easy on foot? How many of y'all believe that? If y'all believe that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't believe that, give me a thumbs down. I'm sorry, I don't believe it.
Looking at images of that train that's headed towards the U.S. border, packed with migrants riding the top of it. So it looks like this issue isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Mayor Wells, thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely. We'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right, so there's that. All right. So now we're at the feature presentation, because why not, right? I had y'all sitting here for about 2 hours, and then the last 15 minutes is what's actually on the thumbnail. Well, that's what you call how you build a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? That's what you call how you grift efficiently. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Wallow J. Okay. So don't say that y'all didn't learn nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm teaching y'all how to waste people's time, you know what I'm saying, and put the money into your pockets, because that's where it should be. The money should be in you guys' pocket. Deneen said, unsubscribe. Oh, man, listen. When people unsubscribe, they raise their hand so high, they raise it high in the air like the Statue of Liberty, and then they slam it down on the keyboard hard. You know what I'm saying? Like the keyboard, one side goes up and then the other side goes down, and sometimes the buttons pop off. Man, they get mad. I'm done with this nonsense. You gotta bring it up high, you know what I'm saying? Where's KO Kid Fit at? Shout out to my man KO Kid Fit. He's a fitness instructor. He needs to make the unsubscribe stretching exercise where you raise your hands up high when you just get upset at one of your favorite content creators. I hate you. You know what I'm saying? So then you put your hands up real high in the air in snow angel fashion, and then take a deep breath while your diaphragm is extended. Unsubscribe. Boom. And then you come down hard as hell. You know what I'm saying? It gets you some upper body strength going. Get that diaphragm flowing so you can get some of that good fresh morning oxygen up into them lungs. You know what I'm saying? Get that circulation going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Make everything good for you. You know what I'm saying? We gonna and then you could even do a dance with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get it choreographed. Everybody at the same time. Get like 20 people in the room. Bro, she's shaking it angrily. It's like Mickey Mouse when he be composing the symphony orchestra. Unsubscribe, and then it got the anime background with all the light and everything going down. It's like boom, you know what I'm saying? The ground shakes. The ground shakes, and all the channels on YouTube that you hate fall into the crack that you just made with the force from the unsubscribe. You know what I'm saying? Hey, people that, shout out to Deneen, people that announce that they unsubscribe, man, they be having me dying laughing, man. Like I be cracking up, man. That shit is so hilarious. I swear, like next time somebody says that they're unsubscribing, y'all know I don't really be dropping the StreamYard link or anything like that. I'm putting the StreamYard link in the chat, and I'm be like, can you please tell us about your unsubscribe? Tell us about your unsubscribe process. I hate you. I hate you. I can't stand your channel. I hate you. I'm unsubscribing. You know what I'm saying? And then you just hear something fall down on the ground in the back. You know, it's always so much violence that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Like a box will fall off a table or something like that. Oh man, that is hilarious, man. Oh man, unsubscribe is the best. That's why that's why me and TD, that's why we be joking around about the unsubscribe. Hey, how many people want an unsubscribe shirt in the merch store, man? I'm about to make one. It's just gonna be black with white letters. Unsubscribe, and then a big thumbs down on the back. Oh my God, man. If people only knew. If people only knew. Like if you actually want to hurt somebody's channel, click on the video and then hurry up and leave real quick. Like don't even say nothing. If you click on the video and then leave after 30 seconds, then you really gonna fuck somebody's shit up. You can really mess the channel up by doing that. Do that shit every day for the rest of your life if it really means that much to you. But you've come in, you've watched for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. Then you've typed a couple comments. I can't stand you. This is dumb. Is anybody getting anything from here? I can't hear you. That's the best one. I can't hear you. You know what I'm saying? Is it just me? Here goes another one. Is it just me or does this stream suck? Oh man, that is hilarious. Is it just me or is this stream garbage? Like, thanks for announcing that, like right in the middle of my chat. No, Deneen, cool, Cutthroat. She's just joking. That's you know what I'm saying. Deneen, that's she a loyal subscriber, man. She ain't going nowhere. She know what we be doing. You know what I'm saying. It's hilarious though, man. It's so funny when people do that shit, man. I want to get a whole unsubscribe interview. Matter of fact, that might be my 30th channel. I'm just going to do unsubscribe interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've ever unsubscribed from a channel, I'm going to make a vlog about it. What caused you to unsubscribe? You know what I'm saying? And just get the whole 15-minute breakdown of how much you hate this other YouTuber that caused you to unsubscribe and put it up there. You know what I'm saying? And then react to it on all 30 of my channels. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? What you don't got to do is this. Border agents detained 20 Romanian nationals, including children, crossing into Maine from Canada. Now, we talked about this briefly on the other channel, but we're going to talk about it again today. 2 of those apprehended were processed for expedited removal because they were believed to have ties to organized crime, border officials said. So now let's just keep it a buck and let's just actually ask an important assessment question. When it comes to the undocumented bros, how many of these people do you all think? How many of these people do you all think have criminal ties? Y'all got me dying laughing talking about the unsubscribe, man. Unsubscribe is hilarious. That's one of the best things on YouTube. Anytime I'm watching a live stream and I see somebody say that in the chat, or anytime I see them leave it in the comment section, I always like the comment and then make sure that I comment under it a crying laughing emoji. like you must feel really strongly about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what did I do to you? Oh man, I'll tell you the best. The best unsubscribe is when people type in unsubscribing, because the thing about unsubscribing is that the comment is eternal. So that means that it's just etched into eternity. Like you've been spaghettified into a cycle of unsubscribing that's never going to end, and it's there eternally. Like I've gone back 2 or 3 years and the post is still there and it says unsubscribing. Like that just paused your entire life. Like that's crazy. You still unsubscribing, and this was back in 2019 when you made that post. Oh man, yeah, I gotta agree. Like the majority of these people, man, probably undocumented thugs. Hey, everybody throw some flames in the chat for Win, Lose, or Rug. Oh man, he gonna flip out, man. Shout out to Torian and shout out to Kid Gravity. They hit me onto that situation when he was flipping out, man. Went full Pookie on Hotep Jesus. He might try to come after you, Win, Lose, or Rug. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna have to get him. So This particular situation, this is going on at the northern border. There's a influx of migrants attempting to come to the United States from the northern border as well. And that's not something that's really talked about very often. It's not talked about very often in the mainstream media. It's not even really talked about very often on YouTube. You get more of a crowd, and it's more profitable to talk about what's going on in New York, what's going on in Chicago. And that's because those are larger areas. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Northeast is kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Denise for hitting the Stream Elements bot, being a bot enforcer. Appreciate it. So now here it says border officials apprehended 20 Romanian nationals who were trying to cross illegally from Canada into Maine early Tuesday morning. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What kind of criminal enterprise do you all think that these Romanian nationals were coming from Canada to the United States to try to set up or to try to establish or to try to get involved in? What is it that they were planning on doing? According to information provided by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, agents in Maine observed 4 vehicles crossing the international border in Hogdon and eastern Aroostook County near New Brunswick just after 6 a.m. The vehicles were stopped, and the individuals, 10 adults and 10 children, were taken to a border patrol station in Fort Fairfield. All were identified as Romanian nationals. They should have brought Andrew Tate over here with them. Or should they have kept him over there? The incident is indicative of an overall rise in apprehensions witnessed here in Holton sector. Acting patrol agent in charge, Dennis Harmon, said in a statement, in the last 3 Octobers, Holton sector encountered a total of 33 individuals. In fiscal year 2024 alone, we've encountered 55. While this increase poses challenges to Border Patrol resources, it does not, it does not dissuade the great work done by our dedicated agents here in Holton sector. Okay. Of the 20 who were apprehended Tuesday, 2 had ties to international organized crime and were detained and expected to be deported, according to border officials. It wasn't immediately clear what will happen to the others. So now I want you guys to know, right? It may not sound like a lot, right? 2 out of the 20 were members of an organized crime ring. The only problem is that 2 out of 20 is 10%. Another thing is that we got the largest prison population in the world, which means, you know, a couple different things, right? But if you look at that and don't assess it, and you just say prisons hold criminals, that means that we're bringing more criminals into the United States that will be stressing those prisons as well. The same way they stress in every other government organized, government-run institution. And they just keep printing money to try to deal with this. Okay? So now we're going to listen to the full report. Kathy Hochul's full comments about the Stunticon incident that took place in Canada. Now, unfortunately, with this Stunticon incident, Minnesota was not formed, okay? But this was crazy, to say the least. They believe that this was also an attempted illegal border crossing that went wrong, really wrong.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Tom Yamas.
Hey, good afternoon. We are coming on the air with breaking news about the deadly car crash today at a border crossing between the U.S. and Canada near Niagara Falls. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is briefing right now. Let's listen in.
At this time, there is no indication of a terrorist attack. Let me repeat that. At this time, there is no indication of a terrorist-involved attack here at the Rainbow Bridge in Western New York. At 11:27 this morning, a car going at a very high rate of speed crashed into a median at Niagara Street, just minutes from here. It's in the city of Niagara Falls. near one of the border crossings into Canada, the Rainbow Bridge. There are 4 border crossings here in Western New York. This is one of the busiest crossings, not just in Western New York, along the entire U.S.-Canadian border. And it happens on the busiest travel day of the year. So naturally, in a time of heightened alert, everyone sprang into action. It crashed into a Customs and Border Patrol booth, and the car and the booth immediately exploded. Burst into flames. I saw the video of an airborne vehicle that was absolutely surreal. You actually had to look at it and say, was this generated by AI? Because it was so surreal to see how high in the air this vehicle went, and then the crash and the explosion and the fire. That video will be released very shortly. As I said, we're not aware of any threats to this area, but I state the caveat that the investigation is ongoing. If you can imagine, this vehicle basically incinerated. Nothing is left but the engine. The pieces are scattered over 13, 14 booths. So it is a large scene, and it's going to take a lot of time for our federal law enforcement partners who are with me here today, and I'll identify, to be able to piece together the real story, to identify the make of the car. Obviously, there is not a license plate. I've been briefed by law enforcement for the last hour. New York State Police, Colonel Andy Crow, Colonel Allen, other law enforcement officials. I've been joined by Andy Bowker, who's the special agent in charge of the Customs and Border Patrol. I was also briefed by the SAC from the FBI. Also was on the phone with Secretary of Homeland Security Mayorkas. The FBI Director, Christopher Bray, has reached out. The White House has reached out. My staff has been in communication with all of them. I spoke with Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, Congressman Higgins, local law enforcement, as well as local elected officials, because the world is watching to find out what happened here. And again, at a time when there's such high anxiety, stress levels are already high. And we've been on heightened alert since October 7th. That's why it's so important for me to stand here and tell the world, based on what we know at this moment, and again, anything can change, there is no sign of terrorist activity with respect to this crash.
Now, here goes my question, right? Because when we had talked about this briefly, my question was, from the evidence that they had at the time, to me, it didn't seem like they had sufficient evidence to say whether this was or was not an act of terrorism. And honestly, when you listen to Kathy Hochul, I didn't hear anything that she said that would have led me to believe that she had evidence that supported that there was that we could just immediately rule out terrorism. I don't think that they have enough evidence to really say anything at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly, you guys could ask people that didn't see the stream that I did when we were talking about this. You could go and rewatch it, or you could ask the people in the chat. I was truly shocked when I saw that video. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. The only time I ever seen something like that is on Transformers when the Stunticons was on there. You know what I'm saying?
We've identified that this is a local individual, a Western New Yorker. 2 individuals died in the vehicle. The Border Patrol individual working in the booth was injured. The booth literally protected that individual. They went to the hospital with minor injuries and have been released. There's also, again, the busiest travel day of the year. There's a major disruption. And first of all, our cross-border travel. Right now, the Rainbow Bridge will remain closed while law enforcement continues investigation. Again, this is a large, widely scattered scene, and we're trying to identify all the elements to make sure that there is no.
So now my question for you guys is, if they don't have any identification on this individual, my question is, how can we say this individual is from Western New York? I mean, like, we don't have any identification. There's no identification. So how do you then identify the individual? Does that make any sense? Like, if you don't have any identification on the individual, what that means is that you don't have any identification on the individual. That means that you don't know anything about him. You don't know his name. You don't know his address. You don't know where he's from. You don't know anything about his family. Now, shout out to Deneen. Now, the license plate will only give information about the car and possibly about the owner of the car, But if we don't have any identification on the individual, we don't know if the individual who was driving the car was the owner of the car. We only know information about the car and its owner, but we haven't verified if the person who was in the car driving it or the people who were in the car were the owners. You see what I'm saying? It could have been a rental car. It could have been a company car. Could have been a government car. So the license plate will give information about the car and about the owner of the car. It's not, we can't verify from the license plate whether the people who were in the car were the owners of the car, because the car, it could be company car, it could be government car, it could be a rental car, it could be a stolen car. Oh, she said that the car didn't have no plates. Now that's shady right there. That's something to take note of. I didn't catch that. Who drives around without a driver's license, and how did they go for so long without getting pulled over? That's interesting.
Unforeseen situations that we need to address before we can open again to the public. We're going to make sure the public is safe before they go back on the Rainbow Bridge. Also make sure the structural integrity of the booths. Also very important, our state DOT be involved in that as well. The Whirlpool Bridge and Lewiston Queenston Bridge opening early this evening, probably open by now. Can anybody confirm that? Yeah. We're open now. Okay, they're open now. There's been a lot of people trying to get across. I appreciate that. The Peace Bridge, which was open, is already reopened half an hour ago. For those traveling by train, unfortunately, Amtrak has temporarily suspended its cross-border service between New York State and Canada. And the Buffalo Airport, despite early reports, the Buffalo Airport was never closed and everything is normal. Domestic flights are still active. There has been no cessation in service there. What I want to do at this time is extend my extreme gratitude to all of our partners, Customs and Border Patrol, Homeland Security, FBI, our state police, local sheriffs from Niagara County, Erie County, all stepped up to assist in trying to identify what exactly transpired here beginning at 11:27 a.m. this morning. They gave up their time from their families. They showed up. They reminded us that there are people who put on a uniform every single day, put themselves in harm's way. The people out there on that bridge, in the immediate aftermath of what happened, unknown, the source, the cause of this explosion, were out there doing their jobs. So I want to pause to give them just the gratitude of a governor and 20 million New Yorkers who sleep better at night because of their willingness to do this. They run toward danger. They should be with their families today, but they will not be. This investigation will go on for a number of days. And that's why we will not have any further answers at this time as to the individuals involved, the deceased, any motivation. And there's a lot of unanswered questions. But
Is it just me, or does she sound like she wants to get done with this really quickly? And that's facts, Brooklyn Queen. The VIN number could also help identify who owned the vehicle. This is a wild situation. Now, here goes my question. Have you all heard anything new about this? Because I haven't, and I've been actually checking. Yeah, this was some weird stuff here.
This time we just need to dial down the temperature right now. And that's what I plan to do as governor. Just let everybody know all is well. We're investigating. More information could arise, but based on the preliminary investigation, no sign of terrorist involvement in the horrific explosion that occurred here in Western New York. Any questions?
Can you explain what you're basing that determination on, that there was no terrorist activity here and instead call this an horrific accident?
That's based on my briefings with experienced law enforcement.
Now, you see what he said? I want you guys to pay attention to what that journalist said. The first question that the journalist said is one of the first things that I asked. What's the evidence that there's no terrorist involvement? And what she's going to say is she's going to reference a bunch of private conversations that she had that nobody has access to. Now, why am I bringing that up? I'm bringing that up because when there's sensitive information, if you pay very close attention to the pattern, that's how all the elected officials handle that question. One thing that people should pay very close attention to is the interview template that politicians use when it comes to answering questions. We really never get any information from any of these people ever at all. They just creatively talk in circles to where it seems like they've given you some information. You get explanations, but you don't get data. You know what I'm saying?
The FBI, Homeland Security, and the Customs and Border Protection. They brought experts. They're still analyzing this, but there's been no indication based on any online threats, anyone taking credit for anything, all the usual areas you look to identify whether or not there's a group involved at this time. You hear me say this at this time a dozen times because it is still unfolding, but I didn't want to leave the public with a lot more anxiety than they need to have at this time.
So I just want to be perfectly clear. There is no evidence to show at this time that this was a terrorist activity.
There is no evidence at this time that this was a terrorist activity. And that's what I want to make very clear to the public, just to calm everybody down. It's really important because based on what's happening in other parts of the world.
Here's the question. Is there evidence that is there any evidence that shows that it wasn't a terrorist activity? Because those are two different and separate questions. There's no evidence that shows that it is a terrorist activity, right? Which would also mean that there's no evidence that shows that it wasn't. So now that would put us back at square one, which basically means we don't know shit, right?
Everybody is on edge, and this is an international border, and we've always felt the vulnerability there. But this was I won't call it an accident. It's not been determined to be an accident. You don't know whether the driver was intentional in how they drove. We do not know that. All I know is there was a horrific accident. I won't call it an accident. A horrific incident, a crash, an explosion, loss of life. But at this time, no known terrorist connection.
Governor, we saw agents canvassing the neighborhood, specifically near the casino and on Niagara Street. Is there a reason why, or sources are telling us this couple may have left the casino and were on their way to Toronto?
I can't confirm where the car originated at this time, but there is suspicion that the vehicle may have originated in that vicinity.
I'm sorry, can you just clarify of Niagara Falls or where that car may have originated?
Within the city.
Of Niagara Falls?
Not saying it's a local resident. I'm saying that it's a Western New York resident who was most likely in that vicinity prior to the high rate of speed, extraordinarily high rate of speed that led to the crash into the median that sent the vehicle airborne. And when you see this video, your jaw will drop in disbelief at how this went so high, over 8.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my jaw dropped, but my jaw is also dropping because what you're saying right now is kind of not really making a lot of sense. Is it just me, or is her explanation for all of this not making much sense?
An 8-foot high fence. It's rather extraordinary.
Time for one more. Can you just walk us through the idea, the decision to close all border crossings in Western New York? What went into that? And can you walk us through the sheer magnitude of that kind of decision?
I'm going to turn it over to the representative from the Customs and Border Patrol, special agent in charge. That would be Aaron Balker. Would you like to address the decision made to close the border?
Thank you, Governor. I think anytime you have an incident like this, you want to take an abundance of precaution, protect not only the staff and personnel, but also the public. So you make a quick decision like that, and then to go back based on the totality of circumstances, working with law enforcement partners to reopen, we are reopened.
Can you walk us through?
We've just been listening to border officials, along with the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, address the state and really the nation in saying that that incident that happened at the U.S.-Canada border in Niagara Falls was not a terrorist attack. To use her words, there are no indications of a terror attack right now. She referenced this video we're playing.
So, yeah. Again, just always pay attention to the language that's used. Pay very close attention to the language that's used. You know what I'm saying? Also pay attention to the things that they go over versus the things that they choose to not go over.
For you right here. She says this is the video that she saw, and what it looks like is a horrific incident involving a car crash. Apparently, there were two people inside that car. It was at a high rate of speed when it went airborne, flying over an 8-foot fence, crashing, and then exploding. We also have video of the explosion.
Like, she's calling it a car crash. But like, we saw a car go airborne. We didn't see a car crash. How many people have ever seen a car crash? I've actually been in one, and nothing that happened in this particular situation happened in the car crash that I was involved in. You know what I'm saying?
In the aftermath, as you see here as well. I want to get right over to Ken Delaney. He covers intelligence and the Justice Department for us. Ken, the governor told us a little bit, even though the debris field spanned 13 to 14 customs booths and that there was just debris everywhere, they were able to get a sense of what happened here, and she was briefed by high-end state police.
That's right, Tom. And she also made clear they know who these people were, that they were locals. And you heard a question about reports that they had been at a casino, which she declined to confirm. But it's pretty clear, you know, she wasn't saying conclusively that this was an accident because they can't rule out, for example, a suicide attempt. But what she's saying is there was no evidence of terrorism. By the way, we're also hearing that now from our law enforcement sources, who are the ones that told her that, and that this was just a horrible tragedy, a car that was out of control and crashed and created such a conflagration, such a huge explosion that it got people concerned initially that there might have been a vehicle bomb. But they quickly ruled that out. And this is going to raise a lot of questions about all the closures of the border crossings and Amtrak.
Never mind.
Traffic and international flights, whether that was an overreaction. At the same time, it's hard to fault authorities for being hyper cautious and in a.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there, Janine. Right. Won't call it an accident. Why? Right. Right. But they are calling it a car crash, right? But we saw a car explode and they're not calling it a car explosion. Like, it's just weird, man.
Environment where we know that there is a heightened threat of terrorism.
Yeah, and we spoke about this earlier, Ken. You couldn't take any chances on this week, right? You have a holiday week. Tensions are incredibly high around the world and here in the United States with what's happening in the Middle East.
Absolutely. And you know, the FBI director said just a few days ago that the threat of terrorism in the United States is higher than it's been in many, many years because of the Israel-Hamas conflict and because of the rhetoric that's coursing through social media, that there is a heightened concern about lone radicals. And that's where a lot of
lone radicals. That's interesting. Lone radicals. Let me ask you guys this. When they're talking about these quote unquote lone radicals, what is that? Because what it sounds like to me is they're trying to profile people like Peyton Gendron as a lone radical, which is interesting. Lone radicals, huh? Okay.
minds and suppositions went when we all saw this incident, but it quickly became apparent to law enforcement that there wasn't a car bomb. Then they had to reconstruct exactly what this was. The governor just made clear they identified who was in the car and determined that it was not terrorism. It was a horrible tragedy.
Ken Delaney, stand by for us. Tens of millions of Americans right now on the roads, in the air, traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday. NBC Stephanie Gosk is in.
I mean, okay, so let me ask you guys this. I mean, there's all kinds of horrible tragedies. That's a very broad term. You know what I mean? So my question is, how much better do you feel knowing that this is not an accident, this is a horrible tragedy? Do you feel like you've been explained everything properly and you know everything you need to know and you can go ahead about your day?
In New York City. And Steph, even though this appears not to be terror related at all, this still caused a major pause in travel around this area.
Shout out to
And
Leonard.
it
What's
certainly
good with
did.
it,
Up
bro?
by the border, they shut down those. You heard Border Patrol talking about it during the press conference. They shut down those 4 very busy border crossings. They also, at the Buffalo airport, stopped all international flights, both departing and arriving flights. And Amtrak shut down its service between New York and Canada. So disruptive, but it appears as if that's changing now. Those 3 out of the 4 border crossings that were shut down, obviously not the Rainbow Bridge where the incident took place, but the other 3 are now opened up again. And I would imagine you'd have Amtrak up and running again soon as well, Tom.
All right, Stephanie Gosford. Stephanie, we appreciate that update. Before we go, I do want to update you on another big story we are following right now. This from the Middle East. We're getting late word that the hostage exchange.
No, Deneen. No. You know what I'm saying? You're not in confusion. See, that's the thing, right? You're not in confusion. They're in confusion. See, the way that the world has conditioned us to believe what these quote-unquote authoritarian figures say and not believe our own eyes and ears. You're not in confusion at all. They're in confusion. You know what I'm saying?
Exchange brokered between Israel and Hamas has now been put on hold until at least Friday. That, according to the Israeli National Security Director. We're going to have much more on that story and the latest from that border crossing crash on our streaming network, NBC News Now, online at NBCnews.com, and tonight on NBC Nightly News. I'm Tom Yamas. We thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, man. So there's that. We didn't get any information out of that. You know what I'm saying? So my question for you guys is, what do y'all think about all this, man? The undocumented bros is a never-ending story. It's a never-ending story. And we're going to keep following it because it ain't going anywhere except for getting worse. You know what I'm saying? So make sure if you guys have made it this far that you watch this stream all the way through to the end. It'll take you into the profile window for the next stream. Make sure that you hit the like button and hit the bell so that you're notified there. All right. I want to shout out the stream sponsors real quick. Shout out to Win Loser Rug for being a member for 1 month. Remember, we only what did I say? We only 14 away from 100. Assuming that we don't lose anybody. So maybe we can get that 14 by the end of the day. Shout out to Win Loser Rug for the $5 super chat. And shout out to Lloyd Sky 9 for the $5 super chat. And ladies and gentlemen, as always,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour. Got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on my knee. That's on Kiwi. That's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me. Come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature? That's like every other week. Talk behind my back. I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him, hold up.